Discover the groundbreaking transformation of Egypt's desert into fertile agricultural land with the New Delta project, the world's largest artificial river system. In this video, we explore how Egypt is tackling food security, population growth, and environmental sustainability by converting 9,000 square kilometers of arid desert into productive farmland. Through advanced water management, including wastewater reuse, desalination, and innovative irrigation techniques, Egypt is addressing the nation's over-reliance on the Nile and securing a prosperous future for millions. Learn about the cutting-edge technologies used in this ambitious project, including the Al Humam water treatment plant, which processes millions of cubic meters of wastewater daily, and the innovative irrigation systems reducing water wastage. We'll also dive into the socio-economic impacts, such as job creation for 5 million people, regional development, and how this project could reduce Egypt's dependence on food imports. This video also discusses the environmental, geopolitical, and financial challenges Egypt faces in bringing the New Delta to life, as well as the long-term benefits of transforming the desert into a thriving, sustainable agricultural hub. Join us for an in-depth look at how Egypt is navigating population pressures and water scarcity with this extraordinary engineering and agricultural achievement. By watching this video, you'll get insights into how Egypt is leading the way in sustainable development and innovation in agriculture. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with those interested in global agricultural advancements. Egypt's New Delta, a lifeline in the desert. Egypt, a nation whose civilization dates back thousands of years, now faces one of its greatest modern challenges: how to sustain a rapidly growing population within limited resources. Historically, Egypt's prosperity has always been tied to the Nile River, but the nation's increasing population has put immense pressure on its natural resources, especially arable land. This challenge has led to the creation of the New Delta project, a transformative initiative that aims to provide a solution through agricultural expansion and food security. Positioned as the world's largest artificial river project, it aspires to turn vast tracts of desert into fertile land, ensuring not only food for millions of people, but also new economic opportunities. In this exploration, we will dive deeply into the multifaceted aspects of the New Delta project: its historical context, the driving forces behind it, the technological innovations involved, the potential benefits, and the challenges it must overcome to succeed. Egypt, at a crossroads. Population growth and limited arable land. Egypt's population has grown dramatically over the last century, from just 11 million in 1920 to over 110 million by 2024. This surge in population has resulted in increased demand for food, housing, and infrastructure. Despite its vast territory, Egypt's agricultural land occupies just 4% of its total area, most of which is concentrated in the Nile Delta and Valley. Unfortunately, urban expansion is further encroaching on this valuable land, exacerbating the crisis. A population explosion. As Egypt's cities expand, the country is losing about 2% of its agricultural land per decade, threatening its ability to feed its people. Compounding this issue, Egypt's agricultural output has struggled to keep pace with the demands of its growing population. At present, nearly 50% of Egypt's food is imported, which puts a strain on the national economy. The reliance on imports means the country is vulnerable to global market fluctuations, rising prices, and supply chain disruptions. Addressing these challenges has become an urgent priority for Egypt's policymakers. Over-reliance on the Nile. The Nile River has been Egypt's lifeline for millennia, but it is no longer sufficient to meet the country's needs. As one of the most densely populated nations along the Nile, Egypt is especially vulnerable to any disruptions in the river's flow, whether due to upstream developments like the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam or climate-related challenges. With increasing water scarcity and the Nile providing nearly all of Egypt's fresh water, new solutions are imperative. The New Delta project, an ambitious transformation. To address these urgent challenges, the New Delta project was launched as an ambitious solution. The project covers approximately 9,000 square kilometers of desert land, aiming to expand Egypt's arable land by 23% and boost the country's agricultural production. Artificial river networks. One of the most remarkable aspects of the New Delta is its complex water delivery system, which mimics the role of the Nile by creating an intricate artificial river network. This network is essential for irrigating the vast desert areas slated for transformation into farmland. The project's design leverages the Rosetta branch of the Nile, a key water source traditionally used for agriculture in the Delta region. However, instead of allowing wastewater from these agricultural fields to be discharged into the Mediterranean Sea, as has been customary, the project repurposes this resource. Wastewater is now diverted, treated, and then transported through a 50-kilometer artificial river parallel to the Mediterranean coastline. After being collected, the water is sent on a 64-kilometer journey through a sophisticated piping system to the Al Humam water treatment plant, located deep in the desert. This facility is the technological heart of the project, processing up to 7.5 million cubic meters of water per day to make it suitable for agricultural use. Alongside this, fresh water is also pumped from the Nile to ensure a consistent and reliable supply of irrigation water. Sophisticated water treatment and delivery. The Al Humam plant's capacity to treat wastewater is key to the project's sustainability. Using advanced filtration systems, the plant ensures that treated water is safe for crop irrigation. Additionally, the plant is powered partly by renewable energy, including solar energy, further enhancing its sustainability profile. This emphasis on renewable energy also underscores the project's commitment to minimizing environmental impact while maximizing agricultural output. The water management approach includes not only wastewater treatment and reuse, but also the exploration of desalination and rainwater harvesting. Such measures are vital to diversifying Egypt's water sources, reducing the strain on the Nile, and building long-term resilience against climate change. Water management, innovation in resource conservation. The New Delta project deploys a comprehensive and multifaceted water management strategy. Its planners recognize that water scarcity is Egypt's most pressing challenge, and thus, every drop must be used efficiently. One of the cornerstones of the project is wastewater treatment and reuse. By recycling agricultural wastewater that would have otherwise been wasted, Egypt is reducing environmental pollution while simultaneously conserving its precious freshwater resources. This innovative approach turns a previously undervalued resource into a critical element of the country's future agricultural success. The project employs modern irrigation techniques like drip irrigation and sprinklers to ensure optimal water use. These systems are far more efficient than traditional irrigation methods, which often result in significant water loss due to evaporation and runoff. By using precision irrigation, the New Delta aims to deliver water directly to the plant roots, significantly reducing wastage. To supplement the recycled wastewater and Nile-sourced water, the project incorporates rainwater harvesting techniques. Captured rainwater is stored in reservoirs and used to irrigate crops during dry periods, reducing dependence on the Nile and desalination plants. By integrating such practices, the New Delta project is building a water-resilient system designed to thrive in an arid environment. Although not yet a major part of the water supply for the New Delta, desalination remains a promising avenue for the project's future expansion. Egypt, bordered by the Mediterranean and Red Seas, has vast potential to convert seawater into fresh water. By investing in desalination technology, Egypt could bolster its freshwater supplies further, ensuring water security for both agricultural and urban needs. The New Delta project's potential extends far beyond agriculture. It is expected to bring numerous socio-economic benefits, from job creation and economic growth to improved food security and reduced reliance on imports. With the conversion of 9,000 square kilometers of desert into fertile farmland, Egypt will be able to grow a wide range of crops, from wheat to vegetables and fruit. This will greatly reduce the nation's reliance on imported foodstuffs, bringing stability to the food supply. By augmenting its agricultural output, Egypt can alleviate the strain on food prices, enhance nutrition for its population, and reduce its vulnerability to global market shocks. The new delta is expected to create up to 5 million new jobs in agriculture, construction, logistics, and other sectors. The influx of labor opportunities will stimulate regional economies and reduce unemployment rates, particularly in the Western Desert, where development has historically lagged. The project will also open up new opportunities for agribusiness and agro-industrial enterprises, fostering innovation and technological development in the agricultural sector. With increased agricultural output, Egypt will be better positioned to enter new export markets, particularly in Europe and the Middle East. The country's expanded capacity to produce crops such as wheat, corn, and vegetables will allow it to become a regional agricultural powerhouse. Reduced dependence on food imports will free up foreign exchange reserves, allowing Egypt to redirect these funds to other critical areas of development, such as infrastructure and education. Addressing challenges: financial and environmental considerations. While the potential benefits of the New Delta project are vast, it also faces significant challenges that could impede its progress. These include financial constraints, geopolitical tensions, environmental concerns, and social considerations. The New Delta is an expensive endeavor, requiring substantial financial investment in infrastructure, water treatment plants, and irrigation systems. Egypt is already grappling with a national debt exceeding $58 billion, accumulated through various infrastructure projects, including the new capital city currently being built in the desert. Financing the New Delta has required creative solutions, including the sale of assets and strategic partnerships with foreign investors. For example, Egypt's decision to sell Ras Al Hikma, a coastal city, to the UAE for $35 billion has sparked debates about the nation's economic independence. While foreign investment is crucial to financing large-scale projects like the New Delta, critics argue that such deals risk ceding too much control over national assets. Water is a deeply sensitive issue in the region, and Egypt's reliance on the Nile makes it particularly vulnerable to upstream developments. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, built on the Blue Nile, poses potential threats to Egypt's water supply. Negotiations with Ethiopia and Sudan over the dam's operations are ongoing, but they add a layer of uncertainty to Egypt's long-term water security. The environmental implications of the New Delta project are another critical consideration. Large-scale water extraction from the Nile, coupled with the diversion of wastewater and the creation of artificial rivers, could have unintended consequences for local ecosystems. Careful environmental monitoring will be essential to mitigate any negative impacts, such as habitat disruption or reduced biodiversity. The project's success also depends on its ability to manage soil health. Intensive farming can lead to soil degradation, particularly in arid environments where organic matter is already sparse. Sustainable agricultural practices such as crop rotation, no-till farming, and the use of organic fertilizers will be critical to maintaining soil quality over the long term. Social considerations: navigating change and development. One of the most significant aspects of the New Delta project is its potential impact on Egypt's social fabric. Large-scale projects like this not only affect the economy and environment, but also the people who live and work in the affected areas. The New Delta's success will depend heavily on its ability to integrate local communities, create equitable opportunities, and preserve social harmony. Community development and resettlement. The New Delta project involves the reclamation of vast desert areas, which are largely uninhabited but adjacent to existing rural and urban communities. The introduction of new agricultural lands and industrial zones will likely result in the resettlement of populations, especially farmers and their families. These newly developed areas will need infrastructure such as schools, healthcare facilities, housing, and utilities to accommodate the incoming residents. while this development can uplift previously neglected regions. It also brings the challenge of ensuring that local populations are not displaced without fair compensation or adequate support. Historically, such large-scale projects have sometimes led to social disruption, with displaced communities struggling to adapt to new environments. The Egyptian government must take a proactive approach to resettlement, ensuring that new communities are provided with the resources they need to thrive and that local customs and livelihoods are respected. Employment and skill development. The New Delta project is expected to generate around 5 million jobs, with employment opportunities spanning agriculture, construction, logistics, and service industries. However, the skill sets required for these new roles may not always align with the qualifications of local labor forces, especially in rural areas. To bridge this gap, the government will need to implement extensive training programs, equipping workers with the necessary skills to participate in the new economy. Additionally, there is a growing emphasis on incorporating women and youth into the workforce, particularly in the agricultural sector. The New Delta provides an opportunity for the Egyptian government to champion gender equality and youth employment by creating specific programs that empower these groups to take leadership roles in farming and agribusiness. Social equity. To ensure that the benefits of the New Delta project are distributed equitably, the government must take deliberate steps to include marginalized communities. This includes ensuring that rural populations, who are often left behind in large-scale development projects, have access to the new economic opportunities generated by the project. Moreover, the project should focus on creating affordable housing, access to clean water, healthcare, and education in the new communities being developed. Special attention must also be paid to avoid exacerbating the wealth gap between urban elites and rural populations. The project's success will depend on its ability to uplift the entire nation, ensuring that even the poorest communities can benefit from the economic growth and increased food security the New Delta aims to provide. Navigating geopolitical complexities. Egypt's regional position and its historical reliance on the Nile make the New Delta project a geopolitical issue as much as an economic and agricultural one. The Nile's water resources are shared by 11 countries, but Egypt's stakes are the highest, with over 90% of its fresh water coming from the river. As Egypt embarks on this ambitious project, it must navigate several geopolitical challenges that could influence the long-term success of the New Delta. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD. A central geopolitical concern for Egypt in the context of the New Delta project is the ongoing dispute over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD. Ethiopia's dam, which is the largest in Africa, is situated on the Blue Nile, a key tributary that supplies the majority of the water flowing into Egypt. The GERD project, which Ethiopia sees as critical for its own development, has raised alarm in Egypt about potential disruptions to the Nile's flow. The completion and operation of the GERD could affect the water supply for the New Delta project, especially during drought periods. Egypt has engaged in years of diplomatic negotiations with Ethiopia and Sudan to secure an agreement that would regulate the dam's operations and ensure a steady flow of water downstream. However, the outcome of these talks remains uncertain, and Egypt's reliance on the Nile means that any future changes to its water flow could have far-reaching impacts on its agricultural strategies. Regional cooperation and tensions. Beyond the GERD, the New Delta project requires Egypt to maintain good relations with its neighboring countries, particularly those that share its water resources. Ensuring regional cooperation on water management is critical, as Egypt must collaborate with other Nile Basin countries to secure agreements that prevent over-extraction or mismanagement of the river's resources. Conversely, geopolitical tensions could arise from the sheer scale of the New Delta project. Egypt's aggressive approach to securing water rights, expanding agricultural production, and building infrastructure in desert areas could prompt concerns among neighboring nations. Maintaining transparent, cooperative dialogues with regional partners will be essential to avoid diplomatic fallout and ensure mutual benefits from shared resources. Environmental considerations: balancing development with sustainability. While the new delta promises significant economic and social gains, its environmental implications cannot be overlooked. Large-scale land reclamation and water management projects have the potential to disrupt ecosystems, alter water cycles, and create long-term sustainability challenges. Egypt will need to adopt a forward-thinking environmental strategy to ensure that the new delta achieves its goals without causing irreversible harm to its natural environment. Soil health and desert reclamation. One of the primary challenges of turning desert land into arable farmland is maintaining soil health. Arid soils often lack the organic material necessary for sustainable agriculture, making them vulnerable to erosion and depletion after just a few years of cultivation. The New Delta project will need to prioritize sustainable farming techniques, such as crop rotation, the use of organic fertilizers, and the implementation of conservation tillage practices to maintain the long-term viability of the reclaimed land. Incorporating agroforestry, the integration of trees into farmland, could also provide numerous environmental benefits. Trees can help prevent soil erosion, improve water retention, and increase biodiversity in newly cultivated areas. By combining agriculture with reforestation efforts, the New Delta project can help combat desertification and create a more sustainable, resilient ecosystem. Water resource management. A key environmental concern for the New Delta project is water sustainability. The project's success hinges on Egypt's ability to secure a reliable water supply. But over-extraction of Nile water or inefficient irrigation practices could have detrimental effects. To avoid depleting its precious water resources, Egypt must invest in cutting-edge irrigation technologies and ensure that all water used for agriculture is efficiently managed. In addition to advanced irrigation systems, the project's planners are exploring the potential of desalination to increase freshwater availability. Desalination plants could provide a supplemental water source, especially during dry seasons, but they come with their own environmental challenges. Desalination is energy-intensive and produces brine as a byproduct, which, if not properly managed, can harm marine ecosystems. Ensuring that desalination plants operate with minimal environmental impact will be critical if they are to play a role in the New Delta's water strategy. Biodiversity and ecosystem preservation. The large-scale transformation of desert land could threaten local ecosystems and biodiversity if not carefully managed. Desert ecosystems are fragile, and introducing intensive agriculture could disrupt native flora and fauna. Environmental impact assessments, EIAs, must be conducted before any land reclamation begins to identify sensitive areas and develop strategies to mitigate negative effects. In addition to EIAs, the New Delta project should incorporate biodiversity conservation measures, such as the establishment of protected natural reserves within the project area. These reserves could serve as refuges for wildlife, ensuring that Egypt's development ambitions do not come at the expense of its natural heritage. By balancing agricultural expansion with conservation, the New Delta can become a model of sustainable development in arid regions. A global perspective: lessons for other nations. As the world grapples with the twin challenges of population growth and climate change, Egypt's New Delta project stands out as a bold and innovative response to these global issues. With much of the world's population living in water-scarce regions, the project's success could provide valuable lessons for other countries facing similar challenges. Food security in arid regions. Countries in the Middle East, North Africa, and Sub-Saharan Africa are particularly vulnerable to food insecurity due to water scarcity and a lack of arable land. By leveraging advanced water management technologies and sustainable agricultural practices, the New Delta project offers a blueprint for how arid regions can boost food production without depleting their natural resources. If successful, Egypt could export its agricultural expertise to other nations, helping to address food shortages and foster agricultural innovation across the globe. Furthermore, by sharing its desalination technologies and irrigation systems, Egypt can position itself as a leader in the field of agricultural development in water-scarce environments. Climate resilience. The New Delta project also highlights the importance of climate resilience in agriculture. With global temperatures rising and extreme weather events becoming more frequent, it is vital that agricultural systems are designed to withstand the impacts of climate change. By incorporating renewable energy sources such as solar power and prioritizing water efficiency, the New Delta can serve as a model of how to build climate-resilient food systems. The project's emphasis on sustainability could also inspire other nations to adopt greener farming practices, reducing carbon emissions and promoting a shift towards environmentally friendly agriculture. The road ahead. Sustaining the vision of the New Delta. The New Delta project is not a short-term endeavor, but a long-term commitment to reshaping Egypt's agricultural landscape and securing its future food supply. Achieving its full potential will require sustained investment, adaptive management, and an unwavering focus on sustainability. Ongoing monitoring and adaptation. As the New Delta progresses, it will be crucial to continuously monitor its environmental, social, and economic impacts. Regular assessments should be conducted to ensure that the project's goals are being met and to identify any unintended consequences. Adaptive management practices, which allow for changes to be made in response to new data or shifting conditions, will be essential to the project's long-term success. Public and private sector collaboration. The scale and complexity of the New Delta project necessitate collaboration between the public and private sectors. While the government is responsible for the overarching management of the project, private sector involvement will be critical for the development of key infrastructure, technological innovation, and agricultural commercialization. Public-private partnerships, or PPPs, can provide the necessary capital and expertise, ensuring the project's sustainability and helping to meet its ambitious goals. For instance, private agribusinesses could lead in developing cutting-edge farming techniques, while tech firms could innovate in water management and irrigation technologies. International collaboration. Global cooperation will also play a crucial role. Egypt can benefit from international expertise, technology transfers, and foreign investments to enhance the project's efficiency. Multilateral organizations such as the World Bank and the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization can offer support in areas like environmental assessments, capacity building, and sustainable development practices. Egypt's willingness to share its experiences can, in turn, make the New Delta a model for similar projects in other water-scarce nations. Conclusion: a new era for Egypt. The New Delta project represents a bold vision for Egypt's future. By transforming a vast desert into a thriving agricultural hub, Egypt aims to ensure food security for its growing population, reduce reliance on imports, and stimulate economic growth. The project is a testament to the power of human ingenuity and resilience, demonstrating how innovation can turn seemingly insurmountable challenges into opportunities for development. However, the New Delta's success hinges on careful execution, sustainable water management, and thoughtful engagement with local communities and international partners. Navigating geopolitical tensions, ensuring social equity, and balancing environmental sustainability will be critical as the project moves forward. Ultimately, the New Delta project is not just about agriculture, it's about securing Egypt's future. By rethinking its relationship with the land and water, Egypt is positioning itself to overcome one of the greatest challenges of the 21st century, feeding its people in an age of growing populations and limited resources. If successful, the New Delta could inspire other nations facing similar challenges, proving that with vision, collaboration, and perseverance, even the harshest environments can become oases of prosperity.